What's up, guys? This is Marquez here from the Jones Fitness Firm podcast. Today we have Jen on the podcast, and she's a trainer here in Cary, North Carolina. She's a really cool perspective of how she looks at food and helping her clients get in better shape and become healthier. I'm sure you're going to love it. Go ahead and like, share, and subscribe, please. And also, stay tuned in to the end of the podcast. I'm going to give you guys a very special code for my online clients to get some money off of some training here. Go ahead and check it out. Enjoy yourself. Thanks. Here we go. So go ahead and tell YouTube who you are.
Okay. My name is Jen Callens, and I'm a personal trainer in Cary, North Carolina. And I'm also a nutrition coach, and I specialize in eating behaviors and lifestyle change.
Oh, cool. That's going to be a good one right there. Awesome.
Yeah.
So where are you from originally? Here?
I am originally from Michigan. I lived in Michigan. I was 19, and when I was 19, I moved to New York City to study musical theater.
Oh, that changed a whole lot.
Yeah, I know. It's a little different what I do now. Yeah.
How'd you get to NC?
So I got accepted to a musical theater conservatory there. Yeah.
Cool.
So I moved there when I was 19 and actually got a job working for Starbucks. And that was like my after college job, basically. And I started out as a barista and ended up doing all sorts of cool stuff with Starbucks, which kind of shaped how I got here.
Oh, yeah. Cool. So go a bit more into your background, I guess. Talk about your the Starbucks thing you did for a while and how it kind of shaped where you got now. Talk about that for us.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, I started working for Starbucks as a barista as like my after school job, but it was at a time when the company, you might remember a time when there were not Starbucks everywhere. And then there was a time when it kind of exploded and all of a sudden they were built everywhere. And I was working for them during that time. So basically the company was like, all right, we need a lot of managers, but like we need to basically train them from within the company so that we can train them how we want to train them and not have to hire and fire a whole bunch of managers. So basically there was this amazing opportunity to get trained in everything from like HR, how to manage a profit and loss statement, how to grow sales. And one of the things that Starbucks spent a lot of time on was how to train and retain employees, because obviously you need a lot of staff to staff that kind of growth. And that's kind of where I took off. So I got really interested in why people learn, what makes them learn, what makes them be able to use that knowledge. Like how come some people can apply what they know in a given situation and some people can know it but not do it. And that was really fascinating to me. And I ended up just kind of volunteering / asking / insisting that I get this kind of continuing education on that sort of thing. And I ended up mentoring other managers. I ended up opening a store in Harlem and running a store in Times Square, one on Hollywood Boulevard in Los Angeles, and developing a lot of other managers as well, and leading projects for that sort of thing.
Okay. Hey guys, we break your podcast just for 1 second. I want to tell you guys about a really cool organization called the BrownSugarCraftCo. They're one of the sponsors of this podcast. This is a company that makes everything customizable. I'm talking about from shirts to hoodies to cups to mugs to logos. Anything you can think of that you want like customized and made, this is the company to contact and talk to. It's a local small town business right here in Cary. Perfect place to get some really cool Christmas gifts for your friends and loved ones. They're even giving you guys free delivery and or shipping depending on how far you are. Just got to mention the Jones Fitness Firm podcast where you saw this at basically. Um, they're available on Facebook and Instagram. Just go ahead and direct message them from there. Put your order in. And once again, mention Jones Fitness Firm to get your free shipping and or delivery. That's the Brown Sugar Craft Co. All right, guys. The rest of the podcast. Thanks. That's cool. Cool stuff.
Yeah.
Love some Starbucks.
How much? Thank you for my pretend MBA.
So I think you have a weight loss story, right? You dropped some big
Yeah.
pounds
So,
before you kind of became like an official trainer and whatnot. How did that
yeah.
go for you? Tell us about that.
Before I became a trainer, I hired a trainer. In 2008, when I got my first store, I got my first sales bonus. And I used that money to hire a personal trainer because I was in my mid 20s and I had been on like every kind of diet, shake, every kind of like deprivation thing. I hated exercise except for dance. But I was like didn't have a place to dance anymore because I wasn't doing musical theater anymore. So um, basically I hired a personal trainer and was like, hey, teach me what to do at a gym because I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. And I want to lose weight. And he ended up giving me a couple things in my diet just to tweak. Like I really didn't understand nutrition at all, but I knew that if I took cheese off of a sandwich or, or like just eat the bread or just, like I didn't really know what I was doing, but I knew that if I just like made small changes and exercised, I would see a difference. And I ended up with him, I lost 60 pounds and ended up feeling pretty comfortable. I could go work out without him after 6 months or so. I was like, I can go to the gym and not feel like everyone's looking at me anymore. So that was cool. And then after I had my daughter, I had moved here. I had another personal trainer and I was like, I don't want to go back to work full time. I want to be home with my baby sometimes, and he was like, well, what if you took everything you knew about like losing weight, everything you knew about learning and behavior and that you learned from your job at Starbucks and became a trainer who, help people with making those lifestyle changes because that's the hardest part to help them with. And I was like, all right, sounds like a good idea. I'll do that.
That's a pretty cool story. So you seen like both sides of the fence here. You was a client at first of somebody
Oh, yeah.
you kind of learned and became a trainer. So that's a different perspective to bring to the equation a little bit. I've always been a trainer. I've never been a client before. So
well, I'll train you if you want.
yeah, why not? Let's do that. So let's talk about your philosophy in training and whatnot. So you were at the music school for a little while and you danced. Does any of that kind of incorporate into your training a little bit? Or you have a whole different style? What's your core background in training and whatnot?
Yeah. So, I do incorporate, I don't incorporate a lot of dance into my training. That might be fun. That might be when I train you, maybe we'll dance.
Yeah, let's do that, definitely.
Yeah. No, I do. Sorry, what was the question?
Just your
What's
training philosophy, your background. Like when you get a new client, like how do you go through and give them their exercises and whatnot? Why you choose what exercises?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So my main philosophy with exercise selection, most of my clients who come to me are beginners who are a little bit timid, who don't really care for exercise. They're not ready to be pushed. They're not ready to have to dig deep yet. They just need to learn basic movement. So I really do start out with just like basic hip hinge, scapular stability, core, that sort of thing, with all my clients. And I also ask for a lot of feedback because I find that a really common thread with my clients, if they've had a trainer or they've been to class, like group exercise, is that they feel that they don't like exercise because they've pushed themselves beyond what is comfortable for them right now.
Mm-hmm.
And they have some maybe baggage about, I shouldn't be breathing this heavy, or this should be easier for me, or I should be able to do this. And so I ask for a lot of feedback. I'll often say, on a scale of 1 to 10, how difficult was that for you? And if they say, 4 to 7, we're good. We're keeping it there. If they say 9 or 10, we're going to dial it back a little bit. So I definitely try to keep my clients comfortable until they show me that they can push themselves and that feels good for them. So I guess I would call myself, my style would be an easy trainer.
Okay. Okay. I use that a lot too. Love that 10 scale. Some people, they're not really good at that, and I know, like kind of like you described, I have it picked in my head that if they say it's a 7, I know that I should keep it here or not and whatnot. But that's a good tool.
Right.
I like that. I use that a lot too. A lot of times. Um, so how long you been training for? How many years is that?
So 5 years I've been training.
5 years. Cool.
Started after I had my oldest daughter, and probably she was about 9 months old, I think. So yeah, 5 years.
Cool. So what's the best part about being a trainer, you think? What's the best part of this job?
Oh, definitely seeing people who in their first session said they don't like to exercise get super into it. That's really fun for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's the worst part?
I think the worst part is probably that when I tell people what I do for a living outside of the gym, they usually respond with telling me what they don't like about their body. Like often, like people, if I'm at the park, with my kids or something, and I say,
Oh, gotcha.
like, can you help me get rid of this? And I'm like,
That is
oh,
the worst. Yeah,
and
I
yeah, and
agree
it's
with
hard
that,
because
definitely.
I have 2 little daughters, and like I don't want people to be talking about their bodies like that in front of my girls. Like, I don't want them to worry about that.
Yeah.
So I usually actually tell people now. I learned my lesson. I just tell people I have my own business, and they usually don't ask me what it is. So I'm like, okay, good.
I'm going to steal that from you because I'm in the same situation a lot of times. I'm a trainer and they want to ask you all these weird questions. I'll be like, yeah, book a session and we'll take care of all that.
Right, exactly. Like nothing I can tell you in the next 2 minutes to change your life.
Exactly. All right. So you have a certificate of some sort. You told me about your eating habits. What was that again?
Yeah.
Talk about that for us a
So
little
well, I have my training certificate is through NASM, and then I have precision nutrition, which is kind of, a lot of trainers get that if they want to be able to talk to people about nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, what makes me different from a registered dietitian or a nutritionist is that I can help people eat better. I can tell them what different foods and macronutrients do for their body, and how, and a general idea of how much they should have. I just can't use nutrition to treat any kind of disease or anything like that. So
Okay. Cool. It's a good tool to have in your arsenal, I think. So what are you most known for, Jen? What would you say? What are you most known for?
I think the thing that is starting to kind of separate me in my career is that I don't weigh or measure my clients. I am
Why not?
I'm
Why
very
not?
well. I'm so glad you asked, because I think that it's really good to have a way to track progress. It's not to say that there's no accountability, but I think focusing accountability on weights and measurements for a lot of clients who are looking to lose weight actually takes them out of the process. People are much more willing to experiment and learn and give themselves time to practice a skill if they know that the end game is to be able to do that skill forever. So for instance, I'm teaching my daughter right now how to read. And if I kept giving her like, an adult novel every night and was like, okay, can you read this yet? No. All right, go back, go back to practicing every night. Can you read this yet? No. Can you read this yet? No. But if and she's going to get frustrated and she's not going to want to do it. It's too far. It's too far to go. So what do we do instead? Every night we work on our letter sounds. Okay, what does C and H make if you put them together? Okay, 2 months from now we can say, what does this vowel change sounds? What happens when this vowel changes sounds? It changes the meaning of the word, right? And then now we can read a sentence in a kid's book, right? And if every day I was giving her that novel and saying, can you read this yet? How much of it can you read? That would be really discouraging for her. And I think it's the same thing with human behavior of all things. We have to reach for what's immediately in front of us. So what my clients track is, how did you feel after you ate? Did you feel stuffed? Did you feel remorseful? Were you worried about gaining weight? How did you sleep last night after you exercised? How did you poop today after you had all that fiber yesterday? Right? These are immediate ways to measure if you're doing better or not. You don't need to keep jumping on the scale every day and have someone say, you didn't lose any weight yet, because that kind of negates all that other stuff. And I think that me talking like this with my clients and talking like this on social media about, like, okay, you want to lose weight? Great, you can lose weight, but you don't have to, that doesn't have to be the thing that you measure every single day and worry about every single day. So
I love that approach. That makes a lot of sense right there. I love that. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people, they love it as well. The idea that, okay, seeing positive results, and it's not the scale all the time, but still, some positive reinforcement makes this a lot easier of a process where I can keep going and keep trucking and not want to give up because I didn't lose a pound this week or whatever.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
I love that. So let's go into what are some of your pet peeve exercises? I know that every trainer has them, where that it's an exercise or a move, or sometimes it's a counter exercise, and they go, "Oh my God, that is the stupidest thing ever. Why is that going on?" For example, the shake weight. That was a big funny thing for a while. Remember that, the shaky thing? It was
all you need is a toddler. That's the original shake weight. You're just like
toddler.
Trying to carry him through a parking lot. Yeah, no, I actually really hate gimmicks. Speaking of the shake weight, like, I hate gimmicky exercise stuff that becomes popular, and then all my clients are asking me, like, what do you think about this? I'm like, oh my God, just do a squat. I also really kind of cringe at, like, a really shallow range of motion with a super heavy weight on it, like like a quarter squat. But yeah, I think the gimmicks bother me more though, like the heart rate, like fat burning zone type stuff. What does that mean? Any workout where you're getting yourself into a caloric deficit is fat burning. Like, I don't understand. I mean, I know what they mean, but like, so few people actually need that,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
And my clients obviously are thinking it's like adipose tissue burning, like fat cell burning, as opposed to like fat burning. Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
So like, so what are your go-to exercises for your clients? You talked about a little bit. You said some hip hinge, some scapular retraction, but what are like go-tos that you normally got people that you like to have people do for whatever reason?
I use a lot of yoga in my training, and I encourage my clients to do yoga and walking outside of training. But not as part of their exercise program, as part of their like mental health hygiene, I guess I would call it, or sleep hygiene or whatever. Yeah. So, but that's probably the thing I encourage my clients to do the most. And then I usually incorporate a little bit of yoga at the beginning or end of my clients' sessions as well.
Cool. Yoga's cool. I do it like maybe once, twice a year. Not very often, just because I know it's for certain ways and whatnot. And mental health too, that's important, good stuff. So yeah. So let's talk about you a little bit more. Do you Do you have any personal fitness goals or events or anything coming up that you want to share with us?
Um, Not really. So I've been working, actually, kind of. I've been working on getting back to running lately.
Okay.
I had a whole bunch of awesome injuries after I gave birth to my second kid, like hip and knee and back problems. Just
Oh,
like I would sit on the couch the wrong way and not be able to walk, and and so I went to a lot of physical therapy, and I've done a lot of work to kind of like rebuild my stability in my hips and stuff. And now I'm just getting back to running. So I'd like to run some like 10Ks probably in the next year.
that's kind of cool. Good.
That's about
What
as far
was
as
the
I.
injury? Anything specific or kind of just random stuff?
It was like a bunch of random stuff. My first when I after I had her and I got back to kind of running a little bit, my knees started to hurt. I went to physical therapy for that, and then they cleared me. And then like the next day, something happened with my hip and my lower back where I like was limping. Um, so then I went to another physical therapist who did a lot more manual therapy, and yeah, we've just been working on. He gives me some really amazing but mundane core exercises that I do several times a day, and hip exercises. So
Good, good deal.
yeah,
Good deal. Looking
I
forward to
got
seeing
to learn
those.
a lot about hips and knees, so that's a bonus.
What'd you say?
I said, when you're a personal trainer and you get hurt, you get to learn a lot from your physical therapist, So I got to
Yeah,
learn a whole bunch about hips and knees. So I'm
yeah.
lucky.
Been there, done that. A lot of my PT comes from the guy. What's his name? Um, Supple Leopard is the book. I use that a lot. What was the guy's name? I'm forgetting it. I'm getting old,
I'm not
guy.
familiar with the book.
But it's a really cool book. Supple Leopard, what it's called, and he's like the VPT that I go to if I get injured somewhere, doing some big time squat or deadlift sometimes. Um, so where do we see Jen at in the next 5 to 10 years? What are you doing to yourself at that point? Where you gonna be at, Jen? What you doing?
I would really like to be mentoring other trainers in some way, or shaping kind of like the vision or the growth of a studio. I think I'd like to kind of combine all my worlds, and obviously find like-minded trainers and have kind of a specific um, thing that we all do together in the same space and that sort of thing. Yeah.
Sounds cool. Sounds interesting. Um, Here's a cool question for you. What legacy do you want to kind of leave behind in the fitness space? What do you want to like be like mostly known for? Like what's your thing that you want to kind of put out there and go, yeah, this is my stake on the moon right here, This is what I did. What's that?
I think I want to help people see exercise as a way that they take care of themselves instead of as a way that they try to change something they don't like about themselves.
Hmm.
Even if they want to lose weight or want to get in better shape or hit some sort of athletic performance goal, I want them to ultimately see every time they choose eating something healthy and moving their bodies as a thing that they did because they were taking care of themselves, not as an obligation they had to change themselves.
Cool, cool. Good one. Um, let's go back into some of the eating stuff here a little bit. Um,
Okay.
so like, what's one of like the more common things that you find yourself as far as the advice even to your clients all the time? Um, what do you see commonly out there is one of the things that people are always messing up for whatever reason?
I see I want probably the first piece of advice I give to my clients is to separate food and exercise completely. I want them to think of those as two completely different projects. So we know that when we train an athlete, we need that athlete to fuel their performance. We need to look at their sleep and what they're eating. We need to look at their macros, right? We need to look at their water, their electrolytes, everything to get peak performance. But I train mostly people who are sedentary, who are not athletes, or who have a little bit of exercise under their belt. And what ends up happening when they try to eat to fuel a workout or eat after a workout to achieve, maximum gains or whatever it is, what actually ended up happening is they're using food to earn calories or burn calories. So there's kind of like this hedonistic response with food, which is, oh, I'm eating this cake tonight. I guess my trainer's going to have to kill me tomorrow, right? Or like,
what's wrong with that idea? I love that plan.
I'm going to have to run extra tomorrow. So, or, oh, I did all that exercise with my trainer today. You know what? I'm going to have that second margarita, or I'm going to have that extra whatever, right?
Yeah.
And what happens is now they're remembering all the times they exercised, and they're completely counteracting that with food choices. Or, they're going, you burned 300 calories on that run you did, but you just ate 1,000 extra calories because you're rewarding yourself for doing the run. So now, exercise becomes a chore. It becomes an obligation. It becomes something you have to do so that you can eat more for the god or goddess that is food. And that becomes a really big problem, because you are now driving both of those issues that you have with food and exercise further to the polar ends. So by separating them from the get-go, it's like, here's all the stuff I have about food. I like to overeat when I'm out with my friends. I like to eat in front of the TV at night. All these foods, things that we can work through are over here. We're going to work through those separately. And all the exercise stuff we're going to work through over here. And then when you get to a point where you're an athlete, then we're going to bring them together and we're going to talk about how, but for now, there's no need to think about them in relation to each other. So that's the first thing I usually do with people.
That's very interesting. That's a really good, I love that. I remember one time I was in a class, I was teaching it, and we were doing like a really long plank session. I went around the room and I was like, people I've had for, a long time. And I was like, hey, why do you come to this class all the time? Why do you like being here with me or whatever? And one dude, he wasn't a real big guy. He was average weight, and he was like, because I drink a lot, Marquez. I'm coming here to burn off those I drink. And he's always there. He's very consistent, and that's his thing. But it worked for him, so that's what funny. Speaking on more food, so how do you handle people and like a cheat meal? Like how does that come about into this system that you got going on here? How's that work?
Yeah. So, well, I think personally, if a cheat meal is needed, then your diet is too restrictive. Mm-hmm. So I don't recommend, unless my client wants to, and they can lead. If they say, I want to cut this type of food out, I'll say, okay, try it. Let me know how it goes. Keep track of it. How long are you going to try it for? But I actually encourage my clients to, rather than taking things out of their diet or restricting their calories, to add things into their diet that is good for them, and let that between a combination of adding all the good stuff in that you want to get into your diet and learning how to tell if you're hungry or full, like the hunger scale of hunger and fullness. If you can get those two skills down, you don't really have to restrict very much. So, if I'm telling my client, or my client decides, I should say, that they want to add fiber to every meal and protein to every meal, right? They're going to feel full a lot quicker than if they're eating the standard American diet or have been for several years. So if they know, oh my gosh, I only had to eat half of that and I felt full, then the few times that they do say, okay, I'm not going to worry about that meal, I'm going to have pizza or whatever, it's not going to make that big of a difference.
Yeah.
And you also only eat pizza until you're no longer. You don't eat pizza till you're stuffed either, right? Like if we can in the moment say, I'm not hungry anymore. Oh man, I only had 2 slices of pizza, but I'm not hungry anymore, so I'm going to stop eating now, right? Then you don't really ever need a cheat meal. You can just kind of
Okay.
always know till you're stuffed and
Yeah.
try to get as much stuff as you can.
To me, it's like you kind of mush the idea of the 80% good, 20% bad, maybe, into like
Yeah.
a way of like fitting it into there of being full and whatnot. But yeah, that's a cool way of looking at it, perspective wise. I love that, Jen. You're good. We gotta talk some more later about this. All right, let's get outside of fitness a little bit here. So, what are your other hobbies? What do you do for fun besides make meal plans and train people? What do you do for fun?
um okay, this is like I'm trying to decide how nerdy I want to reveal myself to.
You let it all out, Jen. Let it all out here now.
And okay, well, okay, so obviously I hang out with my kids and we go to museums and parks. Okay, that's fine. My husband and I like to golf together. I know
Okay.
technically that's exercise, but you can drink beer while you're doing it, so it's
Yeah,
not
yeah. I wouldn't call it exercise, unfortunately. Where do you
physical
guys play
activity.
at?
What's that?
Where do you guys play at?
We kind of play all over the place, just wherever has a good deal. Really, we have like an app that shows us like the
Yeah.
good golf deal. I'm pretty bad. Like I'm pretty bad. So we can't play anywhere too nice because that would be very embarrassing for me. But I'm getting better.
We went golfing
I'm
for
getting
the
better.
first time on Father's Day this year, and man, I got so much more respect for all the golfers out there. My forearm was so sore because I hit the ground so many times. It was miserable.
See, I don't usually hit the ball. I usually whiff it and like miss it completely. If that's what's gonna happen, I'm gonna miss it completely. But yeah, it's less so now. I'm getting better. Golf is actually a really good game to kind of appreciate, like
Definitely.
having a beginner's mind, like no one's gonna go out and be good at golf the first time they try it. You're just not. Yeah. Oh, and I love escape rooms. Have you ever done
Oh
an escape
yeah,
room?
I've heard of those a few years ago. I have not tried one yet.
They're
When you
so
going
fun.
again?
What's that?
When you going again?
I don't know. We should do like
The Trainers Escape Room
studio
type
outing,
thing?
all of us, yeah, and like our spouses or something. That would be fun.
Where'd you go at? Which one did you go to? Local or?
Oh, where? I've been to a bunch of them. There's a bunch in Morrisville. There's a new one that I want to try that's in Apex. But um yeah, it's really fun. There's like a bunch of clues. You don't know what you're looking for. You're just looking around the room trying to figure out what you're looking for the whole time. And then you start to like notice patterns and things. And you're like, oh, maybe these things go together. And it's super fun.
Cool, cool.
I don't even get out that often. I just think it's fun. Oh,
Yeah.
and I like beer. I'm a huge beer nerd.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's your favorite kind of beer?
I go with the seasons. I really do. So like right now I'm doing like the pumpkins and the Oktoberfests. And then in the winter I do a lot of stouts, like vanilla and coffee and oatmeal stouts. And then in the summer I do a lot of like the shandies and the lighter beers and the cream ales and stuff.
Mm, cool. All right. So, hey, you still there?
Yeah.
My I'm getting a weird computer glitch here. Sorry, hold on. It's probably still
Okay.
recording. I'll just cut this part. Sorry.
That's all right.
Hold tight. Uh, iTunes popped up. I do that. All right, here I go. I'm back. All right, so goes again. All right, so what do you have? What'd you say?
Oh, I said I can see you the whole time. So
Okay, yeah. Um, so as far as bucket list, do you have one? What do you want to get done on it? What you got up there? Anything cool? And exciting?
I don't know anything. That's so funny. I don't not really. Kind of did everything already, I think. And I'm
Really?
not like a super yeah, I'm not like a super adventurous person. I guess okay, I would like to maybe like pick up an instrument again, learn how
Okay.
to play an instrument again. And I'd like to maybe run a half marathon if I could get my knee and hip in good enough shape. I mean, I think I could. That's about it. I don't have much.
That's for me too. At some point, I want to learn guitar. At some point, I think it's kind of a cool instrument. And
Yeah.
once I get all my glorious lifting out of the way, maybe a half marathon or a marathon, maybe. That's a huge
Yeah.
maybe. um. All right. What else, Jen? What else do you want to let the world know about you, uh, and your lovely life of fitness and whatnot? What else?
Um
What do you want to get done on it? What you got up there? Anything cool? And exciting?
I don't know anything. That's so funny. I don't not really. Kind of did everything already, I think. And I'm
Really?
not like a super yeah, I'm not like a super adventurous person. I guess okay, I would like to maybe like pick up an instrument again, learn how
Okay.
to play an instrument again. And I'd like to maybe run a half marathon if I could get my knee and hip in good enough shape. I mean, I think I could. That's about it. I don't have much.
That's for me too. At some point, I want to learn guitar. At some point, I think it's kind of a cool instrument. And
Yeah.
once I get all my glorious lifting out of the way, maybe a half marathon or a marathon, maybe. That's a huge
Yeah.
maybe. um. All right. What else, Jen? What else do you want to let the world know about you, uh, and your lovely life of fitness and whatnot? What else?
Um about how when I um was struggling to lose weight in my younger years, um, it was because, you know, with any kind of learning curve, and I kind of alluded to this earlier, with um, any kind of learning of a new skill, there's education, skilled practice, and mastery.
Hmm.
And I kept trying to start at the master level, which is being able to dial in your diet and your training to fit a goal that you have. That's actually like super advanced to be able to do that. And by trying to keep entering at the master level, I kept floundering and quit and failing and giving up. And it wasn't until I hired that trainer that I realized that I needed to enter at like a beginner level and
Start
practice
somewhere. Really cool, Jen. I'm glad you decided to do it with me. Um,
you.
you have a really cool I guess background and intake on the pulling the food and exercise apart at first and then bring it together when they get better at it. The idea behind all that cool stuff that's very impressive. I like that.
Thank
Um,
you.
so we'll. Hey guys, I'm gonna give you a quick thank you for watching my whole podcast. I really appreciate it. And to also thank you, what I'm gonna do is offer you guys 50% off of my monthly online group training here. So what you wanna do is go to my webpage, jonesfitnessfirmapex.com. Go to online training section, hover over that, drop box comes down, the Jones Fitness Club, click on that. This is going to be a month long, customizable, all week long routine that opens you up to me in full capacity with FaceTimes, texting, email, calls, whatever you need to make sure you're getting the right thing in your exercise routine. This is going to be 50% off. $100 normally, $50 now. Once you purchase it, In the code box, you want to type in Jones Fitness 50. Once again, this is the full works of an online training program. I'm going to take care of every piece of your training for you. Really simple. Once again, that code is going to be Jones Fitness 50, which is going to be under the online training section. Don't wait until New Year's to try and get your training in. I'll be booked up. Go ahead and start now. Beat the curve. All right. Thanks, guys. See you. For all the websites, both Jen's, my website, BrownSugarCraftCo, everything you're looking for, I'll make sure to link it down below in the description so you can find it pretty easy also. And again, thanks for watching the podcast. I appreciate it. Bye.